Hey, good morning. How are y'all doing? Well, here's something for you. First of all, I want to say, what's wrong with people? Holy crap. So, I shared with you that I've been feeling really tired lately. I don't know, maybe I didn't. But I have been. Nothing's wrong with me. It's depression. It's not clinical depression. That's why I like to call it depressing. I've been depressing. You know, I told you before that I kind of have a stressful home environment sometimes, and I get very concerned about my husband's health. And I don't know if any of y'all can relate to this, but just because life gets hard, at the end of the day, you don't have to leave. Excuse me, I gotta open up this shirt. Chrissy gave me this sweatshirt, and I don't like law, so I did. Okay, so anyway, I'm just telling you, once in a while it gets to me. Once in a while I have to hit a wall that says, whew, I'm tired, right? And I think people nowadays, their threshold is so much lower than we older people. And when I was an alcoholic, I should say, whatever, alcohol is a drug. So my tolerance was really low for pain, although contradictory, anyway, you know what I mean. I was also, my threshold for pain was very high. It just depended on the situation. It was either super high or super low. Very self-centered. Anyway, that was a long time ago. So since recovery, oh, hey, happy birthday to me. 32 years sober. Can you believe that? Yeah, 32 years, clean and sober. No drugs, no alcohol. Thank you. I heard the applause in my ears and my heart. Anyway, back to me. I just wanted to say that there are people who forget their long-term goals. Some people have to do the 12 steps on alcohol, other drugs, street drugs, prescription meds. Some people need to do their 12 steps on relationships because they jump in and out of them too fast, or mistreat them. There are some people who need to do the 12 steps on finances because they can't keep a dollar. They make all kinds of money looking all kinds of good. They don't have a pot to piss in if the bottom drops out. The air has been so dry. Thank goodness for that oil I've been using. You know what it is. I'm bragging about it all the time. My brain is just still a little groggy. I don't know how much time I have to visit with you, so instead of doing a live again, I'm doing this. So anyway, I'm not on here to complain about my life. And some of you understand is that, yeah, okay. I'm here to complain about my life. So Freaking what? It doesn't matter. I can complain a little bit every once in a while without, and here's where the young people go very often is, well, take him for everything he's got and get out and start your new life. There are other men out there. You're pretty. You're smart. You have a lot to, you don't have to do that. I see it all the time with my clients when they tell me how they talk to each other about, oh, so-and-so's husband's not very nice, or boyfriend, and they should leave, but they won't listen to me. And I'm thinking, or that they just left, or they're ready to leave another relationship. Well, I'm going to tell you what, it's a lot of chaos. And if you've come from a background of chaos, it's not very smart to go create more chaos unless you're absolutely sure the next step you're making is not going to be chaos. And I don't mean just the very next step. I mean the next 5 steps. Did you know they're going to be there? You got to pack. Where are they going to be while you're packing? You got to know where you're going to put your stuff. In your next place, in storage? Are you going to stay with somebody else? Are you going to think about just getting out because it's a safety plan? Yay, okay. Or do you need to think about, no, it's not a safety plan, it's a life choice. Where are you going to live? You going to move to California? You going to move to Chicago? Where are you going to move? Where are you going to feel safe? Where it's going to be affordable? Are you going to buy a house? Are you going to have to wait to buy a new house on the sale of your old house? Do you have enough money saved up for an apartment that's going to raise its rate as soon as your lease is expired? Just thinking about it, it's like, holy cow. So, as my spouse goes through their mental health issues and their physical health issues, it usually, what I have found over time is it usually goes in waves. And sometimes I have to interfere with their wave if I've had it up to here, or I just do what I can to wait it out. How about that? Easy math. And I have been able to depend on that wave. There's nothing I want to do to really, I've gone through all the changes. I don't want to go through all those changes again. But I decided, and I think because of the weather, being closed up in the house so much and not having a lot of other outlets. Oh, look at what I bought. Okay, I said I wasn't going to buy any more foundation, but I lied. I had to go to Dollar General for some house cleaning stuff for the housekeepers. We've had 4 different housekeepers in the last 5 years, and each one has a whole set of stuff they want to use. So I got a cabinet out in the garage full of stuff that nobody wants to use. They want their own stuff. So we evidently didn't get the text that said, oh, we're out of this or out of that, or they didn't realize it, so we had to run down to Dollar General, which is right down the street. So I'm going to try that. I just put on this. So anyway, now I'm going to put on this, just for fun. Let's see. This is actually light to medium. They didn't have just light. I put it in my hand, and I can see that I'm probably not going to like it. It's probably going to be too dark. But I got it because it's tinted moisturizer sunscreen. Broad spectrum 31. CoverGirl Smoother. So it's supposed to be moisturizing and a sunscreen. So I just put that sunscreen over this sunscreen. But this has more color, was my guess. Which I don't know if that's true. Very sheer. But that's okay. It's a day off. So anyway, I'm fine. I'm much better now. I had to communicate. Say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean. And by mean what I say is I had to wait until I could communicate in a way that was going to make sense. A lot of people communicate in a way, and I work with clients who do this, and I really try to interrupt where they'll let me, is that they've used their neural pathways so often in overreacting that they can't hardly get through the story without crying or yelling or being venomous. Let's see. Well, I'm going to say that I used the first one for foundation because I didn't trust that this one was going to be moisturizing enough. And I love the thickness of this. Reminds me of the oil I'm using at night. Okay. Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, when I want to share this because there are a lot of people who don't understand that there's a difference between sort of an emotional battle, internal emotional battle, and clinical depression. Clinical depression is actually a physiological brain issue. I don't have that to any big degree. I mean, a placebo antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication helps me. That's how little of the clinical level I have. But I do have very high passion emotions. So it's easy for me to have a full spectrum of emotions. It's not bipolar or borderline. It's more that I was brought up so isolated, I had no way to regulate my emotions or feelings or my thinking because I was all by myself most of the time. So it's about training. It's about training the neural pathways to make conscious choices on how to respond or express myself. So I've been at that for a very long time. So I will depress my mouth and what I'm thinking and feeling because I'm confused on how to go forward. Think about that, because that's important. I got this CoverGirl True Blend Hydrating foundation yesterday as well. They were both around $10, I think. I'm sorry. It's my weakness. It's my shopping therapy. And I'm going to check this out through the day. Could this be true? Okay, I put both of those on. My face feels pretty nicely moisturized. Blended in to where I can't tell the difference. Can you tell the difference? Not bad. I mean, pretty good. I'm just going to be laying around the house, so that's all I need. This poor thing is empty. I'm scraping my lips, putting it on. It's not all that moisturizing. But I love the color. It is a little too shiny for me, probably. Especially when my lips are chapped like this. Excuse me. And I'm just going to put some lip gloss right here. Okay, so anyway, what I was going to tell you is one of the signs and symptoms, or I should say, several of the signs and symptoms of my type of depressing, are noticeable before they happen, right? One of them is I isolate. One of them is I cuss more. One of them is I get clumsy. Well, I had all those signs and symptoms a while back. I don't pay much attention to them. I usually just go ahead and start taking better care of myself. I wasn't going to put any powder on, but I just had to dab. I love to dab. Anyway. Can't believe I bought more foundation. Good God. Well, I can buy 4 and experiment and have fun. 4 drugstore foundations. And I know I can always go back to my favorite. Which I am completely out of. You know, I showed it to you the other day. Where in the hell? I thought I saved the empty bottle. Oh, you know which one it is. It's the one with the terrible topper on it. I think it's L'Oreal Hydraulic Serum. I love that one. That's my favorite. If I had to only have one and quit messing around, that would be the one. Okay, back to depressing. So one of the things is when I tell clients this, if you're going to be depressed, people say, I can't stand it. And what I like to say is, yes, you can. Just slow down, because yes, you can. This is not truly torture. This is not truly starvation. If it is, talk to me about it, because I know what that's like, right? I know what it's like to be so hungry that I'm vastly underweight. I know what it's like to be so lonely. I'm so isolated, I don't even know what it would be like to have parents that care, or family that cares, or anyone in your life that would fight dragons for you. Kind of chokes me up. There's so many people out there who think, oh, my life is so bad. It's like, really? Really? Well, so-and-so won't, so what? You have a life, right? But when we start depressing, we have a choice to wallow in self-pity or take action, or, and here you go, ready for the surprise? Or rest. One of the choices is to rest. Not enough people rest. They want to pout, feel sorry for themselves. Look, I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. I'm just saying that's what we do. That's kind of how we seem to be designed, especially these days. It's like the tolerance for pain is so low that it's almost like tolerance for discomfort. People think, if you're not listening to me, I'm going to yell and scream. And if you're not listening to me, I'm going to accuse you of something really bad, really ugly. Those are some of the ridiculous behaviors that keep me from wanting to watch the news at all. It's because it's kind of like, what's wrong with these people? Where's their mom? Where's their godmother? If you're missing kids, like sometimes I miss kids, be a godmother to somebody. And you don't even have to announce it. You can just say, hey, in your head, I'm going to be especially nice to them. I'm going to make them cookies. I'm going to give them a little game they can play with their kids. You don't have to be wealthy to do that. You can just be their mentor in some area of their life that you might know something of. You might invite them to come hang out. Excuse me. That's what I do. I was never blessed with children. Hence, another level of loneliness, right? If I let it happen. If I don't look at reality. The reality is I made a decision over and over and over again not to have children. That's the reality. There was never a time in my life that I said, okay, it's time. I'm going to start trying to have a baby. Never happened. And when I get sad about not having kids, that's what I remind myself. Never tried. So stop your whining. But sometimes I had an old lady tell me, I was pouting because I was going through another breakup, and said, I'll never even have kids. And she said, well, having kids doesn't guarantee they're going to be around. That's for sure. She goes, look at mine. This was back in Galesburg, Illinois. She passed away a long time ago, but I'll never forget her. She told me some of the sweetest, kindest words of advice. And when she passed away, that's back when I was still a hairdresser. I had to go out of my shop because they told me at work. I had to go out, and just around the corner was an alley. I had to go back there and cry a little bit. Said a prayer for her and thank God for her. That was nice. She was early in my sobriety. I was a lucky woman. See that? See how that feels? Oh, that's so much different than a few days ago, or, well, I would say a week and a half ago. But I've been busy catching up on all this stuff that I decided to let go. Anyway, the reason why I'm sharing this with you now is because if you're moody, in and out of relationships, someone's picking on you that you care about, you know what? People will waste so much time. Waste, because they're not going to do anything different. They will waste so much time. They're not spending time just trying to improve themselves, live their life, and maybe look at their own behavior and make a reasonable apology. There are ways of working the steps through. And if you're curious, if you don't have a way to do that, look up Codependence Anonymous or Al-Anon, and go to a couple online meetings because they can change your life. I know Al-Anon changed my life. It didn't make it perfect right away because I'm so damn stubborn, but just depends on how much pain you can tolerate. Like, I watch people complain about how much pain they're experiencing and then do nothing. I was so emotionally illiterate that I was going to AA, Al-Anon, having therapy, and I still got my shit over and over and over again because I would just have lapses of what I was thinking about. Oh my goodness. It took me a while to realize I wasn't broken. I had some strong neural pathways that were there since birth. And it was a struggle. You have to be willing to fight hard to get through some of these thinking errors. So at the end of the day, when I'm frustrated, it is nobody's fault. It's mine, because I've either haven't found a peaceful way to deal with how my emotions are working this month with this situation at hand, or there seems to be a little relapse in somebody else's behavior, and how am I handling that? Have I truly reached the pinnacle of my tolerance and uncle, I'm out? Or is it like, okay, say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean, to see if we can't steer this a different direction. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm talking kind of fast because I don't know how much time I have. And I miss y'all. I miss the comments. I miss sharing our stories. And I know I've been lazy about it. I actually had a friend break up with me years ago because she said I didn't write often enough. I get that. I'm a terrible writer. I'll chit-chat all day long. I mean, sometimes when I'm on the phone with Chrissy, we'll be on the phone for hours, just walking around the house, doing our stuff and chit-chatting. But when there's a time difference, it makes it a little harder. So I'm feeling less depressed. I'm feeling lighter because I took care of business. I kept my mouth shut until I could figure out what was going on. I did not look for outside feedback, which I have done in the past, which could have given me the same results that I've had all my life getting in and out of relationships, because that's one of my weaknesses. Always looking for family, someone to love me, right? Oh, thank God for Al-Anon and Codependence Anonymous. Years ago, I had an Emotional Anonymous meeting in my office. I miss that. I miss those ladies. Anyway, if you're struggling, you're not alone. You have to figure out, you know what, not a bad combo. Not a bad combo. I can tell you that it's very light. It's very light. This is half empty. And I mean, look at that. It is, I've used this. So it's a very light product, whatever that means. I don't know what that means exactly. Okay, I'm gonna put on a little eyelash and I'll be ready for the day. Yeah, we need to do a live. If I get some privacy, I will do that. But anyway, I wanted to share these words of wisdom with you, is that sometimes we're not depressed, we're depressing. And sometimes it's kind of like ducking out of a storm and into a cave. Sometimes that's a very smart thing to do. So I don't feel like I've had an emotional relapse. I feel like I've had almost like exploratory surgery. Like I'm not doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. That's why I say, Al-Anon, I got this from Al-Anon, say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean. If you really look at that, it's going to really cut back on arguments. Because if you don't mean what you say, and if you don't say what you mean, it really cuts back on the negative conversations, right? Especially if you can't say it in a respectful way. They can really steer your moral compass. That's a true story. There are a lot of people out there, and also so many more that I'm watching on the news, when I do watch it, which of course isn't as often as most watch it. I wish people watched it as much as I do, or less, because it's disturbing. The people who have given themselves permission to behave in a certain way is shocking. And also, what I'm wondering is, the people who've given those people permission to behave in a certain way is outstanding. It makes me think, What's the end game? Right? If I allow someone to mistreat me over and over again and then escalate, what does it really mean? What's behind my motive to allow someone to treat me that way? What's behind that? Sometimes on an individual level, it's about if you're not evil and you're trying to set them up for a big fall. I mean, that'd be psycho, right? We see some of that too on some of these detective shows where people are just setting someone up. But then you think, well, I guess I kept allowing people that I was madly in love with treat me a certain way because at the end of the day, they were giving me something I thought I couldn't get on my own. If you want to sit down and get really serious, you don't have to say it out loud. But think about it. Or we're trying to recreate a relationship we had with our parents because we're not ready to let go of that and seek something new and different. That would be scary. Oh, I'm hearing that my breakfast may be here. Not sure. So I don't have very much longer to talk. So I think I didn't live with that today. So here's something too. Here's something. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I got some laundry to do. I get some warmer footsie stuff on. Okay, so part of the deal is if I'm feeling that low, I want you to look at what actually does help you feel better eventually in a way that's meaningful. Not like I'm going to feel better right now by eating a bag of Oreos from my belly because I don't even want to sit up while I'm watching, TV that's not helping. Or playing video games for hours and days until even if you fall asleep, you're still seeing the motions. That's too much. Or drinking, or doing drugs, or taking extra prescription medication. You have to kind of figure that out. That's up to you. But on the other hand, if you have friends or acquaintances that are like, oh, you poor thing, you should just leave or whatever, what I like is for a friend to say, hey, buck up. You've been here before. If you need to lay on the sofa and eat Oreos, you get 1 day. Or you get a week to spoil yourself, but you need to get a paper, pen, and figure out the pros and cons. And if it looks like leaving or a big change would be right, write out the plan. Write out a day planner of what you're going to do every day to prepare for that, right? Not that you're going to do it, but look at that and say, are you really ready for this? Are you ready for this? If you're not ready, right, that's the turning point when you decide, you know what, I'm not ready to do those things that could change my life. So what can I do with my life right now to make it more livable, right? Sometimes it's doing just that baby step, just doing what you can to get through. Look at your medications. Are you overtaking or undertaking any of your medications? And if that's what you're doing, knock that off. Knock that shit off. Get with your doctor, get reevaluated with your meds, and then start taking them accordingly. If you're taking pills to make yourself feel better or to tell yourself nobody cares about me or whatever, look at what you're taking, especially, if it's alcohol or opiate. Those are depressants, right? So they are designed to pull you down. so you don't feel pain. And they're highly addictive as well. So are they helping? Not normally. Matter of fact, darn it, they cause a rebound effect, which means they create and intensify the very symptoms you were taking them for. So take a look at that, and maybe take a break from your drug use, and look at joining a recovery program. Look at your side of the street. And there's support on the internet. There's meetings all day long, especially with AA and Al-Anon. And if you don't want to do AA, do Al-Anon. If you don't want to do Al-Anon, you know, people, places, and things can be our addiction. So do AA, whatever. There's not a lot of choices for good, solid, strong, cheap help, right? Or you can make an appointment with a psychotherapist, and might take weeks, months to get in. We're all booked up, man. I was talking to a gal yesterday trying to practically beg her to get into the business. I mean, I would walk her through the journey. I would supervise her for cheap, actually like next to nothing. I mean, come on. You can't, there's not a magic pill. Matter of fact, I'm selling my EMDR equipment because if people would just do the work that I'm telling them to do, or inviting them to do, it's a game changer. You don't need those expensive specialized treatments most of the time. Okay, some of you, it's the only thing that's going to work. Okay. But if you would have done the homework in the first place, you wouldn't have had to go and then say, oh, that worked, right? Some people just have different favorite ice creams. Different therapy works for different people based on their personality. So, yeah, I'm not trying to get something held over my head in court and get sued or anything. You can do your EMDR, but the basic fundamental principle is Native American, as I can see, and I'm sure it was going on before that even, who knows, and in different tribes around the world. I just know for here in America, it was going on before we got here from other, I don't know where they brought it from. I don't know that much about prehistoric times. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's common sense to some people. Moving on. So how about this? So when I'm, my therapist, friend, mentor, if I'm depressed and feeling sorry for myself, she tells me, get up and go for a walk. Well, hell no, I don't feel like going for a walk. I feel like I'm completely drained. But when she tells me to do something, I do my damn homework. And I can tell you, even doing my homework, even easing up on the things that I didn't want to do, forcing myself to do a few things that I know I'm supposed to do, I can tell you it took me at least a solid week to work through that. Physical reaction to being exhausted. And I can, with stress, will give you physical reactions. And then, because of how my brain works, if I have a physical reaction for so long, my brain thinks I have cancer. If I have a headache or sinuses, you know, like, and it feels a little different than normal, I'm like, okay, I have brain cancer. Or some kind of brain-eating amoeba. Or, you know, because I use tap water when I do my sinus. Don't do it, because, you know, it says not to do it. But I'll get the water really hot, flowing, put it in the bottle, dissolve the salts and xylitol, a little baking soda in it, and let it cool while I'm brushing my teeth. So in my head, I've convinced myself that's boiling the water. It's not. It doesn't boil, so it's not boiled. If you don't boil it, it's not boiled. And anyway... I'll come up with all kinds of shit in my head. And then I'll spend some time researching it to see how close I might be right? So, oh my God. But anyway, sometimes when people, I had somebody call the other day about an appointment, and he was going on and on and on about, they were going on and on and on about all the trouble they've been in. And I'm like, oh my God, sounds like you didn't have anybody to invite you into the world and teach you what it's like to get along with people. And just broke down sobbing on the phone. And I was like, I'm so sorry that you're hurting. And I'd like to invite you to consider, if you don't come to me, because obviously this person, from what they were sharing me, had been in and out of therapy for ages. I said, if you're not ready to take the homework seriously, if you're not ready to invest in this process 100% where you're at with how much trouble you've been in with your emotional reactions, I'm using the term trouble loosely, chaos, right? I said, you're not going to get better soon. And that's what you're looking for. That's why you keep going to these extremes. You want instant gratification. And I can tell you that mental health is not instant gratification. Drugs and alcohol is not good mental health. It might be instant gratification, but it's not. And if you have a therapist that's all sweet and feelings and co-signing any of your stuff and not holding you accountable and being responsible for this lovely person that you're tearing down, I'm not sure how quickly you're going to get well either. I don't have space, but I would encourage you to look for someone who's strong, who knows, can kind of connect with what you're going through and takes it seriously, because you have been through a lot. That's no joke. You have been through a lot. But if you want to get better, you got to work hard. Right? And I can tell you, talk is cheap. But I do it myself. I do my own work. I've been doing my own work this last couple of weeks pretty intensely. Part of what bothers me and what bothers a lot of other people is when they get in the choke of the funnel, where it's almost like, which way do I go? You got to snap it out of it. It's like, okay, if you had to get in the car right now, where would you go? If you had to pack your shit right now, where would you go? It's like, well, you might have to do the math and figure it out. And what are the steps you want to take before you do that? And I'm not just talking about go out of the house to leave a relationship. I'm also talking about go as far as cutting your life off short. There are a lot of people with suicidal ideation. Think about that. Because it's too scary out there. There's too many choices. They choke. All they can see is, I need to feel better right now, or I'm out. Like, wish I could take that funnel and just tap it on the side of the bowl so it'll unclog. Come on. Life is supposed to be flowing here until it stops flowing, until we're out of flour, right? We're not supposed to choke and then go, well, we're done cooking that. Yeah, I know. I'm not for everyone. I'm just saying, whew, I'm so glad for some of the messages I've gotten, and I'm sorry I've neglected answering them. I'm sorry I've neglected talking about them and bringing them up, but I've been kind of self-centered lately, and I've needed that. I'm not trying to program content. I'm not trying to win votes or build a big following. I'm just trying to help myself not feel so lonely, and at the same time, allergies, sinus drainage, the clogged ears, the scratchy eyes, all that's been part of this too. It can make you lightheaded, a little off your equilibrium, a little dizzy. Sinuses getting full can cause all kinds of things, little upset stomach, things that sore throat. And you don't even know it's your sinuses because they're draining so slowly, or your pain tolerance is pretty high. And so when they get full, you don't even notice it. Oh, anyway. So I'm just here to also, hopefully, yay, oh, it would be a dream come true, help one or two of you get through your loneliness, right? Aloneness, heartbreak, confusion, addiction, attitude adjustment. I hope. See, the air is so dry, and it's just. I just took a mucinade. You know what I'm talking about? One of those pills. Before I got on here, should be working. Dang, I've been on here a while. All right, that's all I got. I love you. Enough psychobabble for me. But luckily, things can stabilize, and you can go, oh, whew, okay, we're good for now. Now we have more time to think things through, to make a plan, and just put it away until you need it. Or to be able to say, okay, we're back to normal. We're back on track. Sometimes we get off track. Sometimes we get on track. Sometimes we get, you got to figure that out. And here's what I'm telling you, what's really important about doing this right now. I didn't want to end before I said this, so I'm glad I remembered. The way things are right now in the world, I don't know how they are in your neighborhood or in your city or in your county or state, but I kind of know what's going on in a few states, and I kind of know what's going on in the United States, and I kind of know what's going on in Mexico and South America, and I kind of know what's going on out east, and I kind of know what's going on up north. And I'm thinking, I'll be 62 this year, and I'm thinking, I never thought the world would change so quickly. Seriously. I know it looks like it's been really slow. Some people are in it for generational growth. Some people are that smart. They think of generational growth. And we have some very, very interesting people that if that's what they're thinking, damn, they're really thinking about the long haul. And there are some people who are only thinking short-term gratification. And most of those people are us little people. We're thinking, oh, why is that happening? Well, they should stop that. Or they better stop that or else. Or fill in the blank. And it's like, y'all need to calm down and look at the long picture, right? Where do you think you're going to be, not just in your house, not just in your neighborhood or town? You might move, start over. You might go to greener grasses, bigger houses, or not. Are you going to be somewhere safe? Are you going to be with people who will protect you? Right? Or throw you under the bus? Are you going to be with people who are going to violate you? Are you going to have to protect yourself? I don't I'm just saying, you might want to think about the long haul. That's what I'm doing. I like some short-term gratification, don't get me wrong. Matter of fact, I'm thinking Waffle House. But long-term, you better have a little money saved up. You better have a little food stash. You better have a little fresh water stash. Or bottled water. You better. I'm just saying. Better have some toilet paper. And if your mental health isn't stable, get to work. If you've dug yourself in a hole, put down the damn shovel. I don't know why people are so mean. I don't either. I say it almost every day. Well, I say it every time I watch the news. I just look over at my significant other and say, what's wrong with people? What's wrong with people? I don't know. All right. I'm gonna go start the laundry. Start me something to eat or order it. Something, I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm gonna look at my options. I'm gonna look at my options. All right. I love y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for stopping by. And please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. If you think about it, I want to back up just a little bit. I do appreciate anybody's input on health stuff. If I complain about my health in some kind of way, and you have a comment about what I might be able to go get checked out of the doctor, I do appreciate that. Just know that normally I will go to the doctor eventually. So that encouragement helps me go probably sooner than I would. Because I'm one of those people, kind of like Steve Jobs, I think it was him, don't quote me, who had some pancreatic cancer or colon cancer. That is fairly common type of cancer, but he wanted to keep curing it by natural means, and that's me. And then by the time he said, okay, uncle, I give, it was too late. This easily fixed cancer just got too far. So let's be smart. Let's help each other. But when it comes to depression, my kind of depression, sometimes I need someone to say, have you done the math lately? Just do the math. And then tell me your sad story so I feel better about mine. All right. I'm going to go behave myself. I'm going to go do a couple things today. I am really feeling so much better the last couple days. I feel like I got everything out I needed to say. I feel like I got a fairly reasonable response. I feel like we're on the same page. So we'll just see what happens. And but I like the idea of continuing to revisit my long-term goal plan if I have to make a change, because the same long-term goal plan I had 5 years ago is not the same. I don't have the same people in my life. I don't have the same options. The world doesn't look the same as it did 5 years ago. So my direction has changed. So take a look at your life, even if you have no inkling to leave your situation. Think how you're living your life, and is it going in the direction you want it to? And if not, it might include joining a club to build a support system. It might include reaching out more to do a little bit of volunteer work. It might be learning how to aim and shoot. I don't know. That's up to you. It might be putting security cameras up, or more locks on your door, or more lights going toward your car and home, or car, in the parking lot, carrying a flashlight. It might be buy more comfortable shoes and socks. I love the socks I have now, and I usually wear Uggs or sliders. I never thought I'd get out of high heels. Did I tell you I finally did another layer of cleaning out my closet? I'm telling you, I haven't had this few pairs of shoes since, well, it's still a lot of shoes. Never mind. But I have half the clothes that I did a year ago or 2 years ago. All right. Love you. Gotta go. Have a great day. And if not a great day, make it a fairly good day. Just put some effort into it, okay? All right. Bye for now.